Wow, this is awesome. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. Um, Comment in the chat where you guys calling in from. Hola from Mexico City. What's up? Toronto. We got Phoenix. A lot of people. Everything is going crazy. Orlando. What's up, Jim? LA, New Jersey, LA, North Dakota. What's up, Ilian? Tyler, Texas, Brazil, Pedro. Let's go, dude. Cali, SF, Brooklyn, Denver, near Albuquerque. Amazing. Ed, what's up, dude? Minneapolis, Kai and SLC. What's good, dude? Nelson in Philly, Montreal, Baltimore, San Mateo, Houston, Miami, Houston, London. Oh, amazing, dude. Love the international squad. Portland, Oregon, Las Vegas, SF, LA, Detroit, Toronto, hello von Germany, amazing. Medford, Oregon, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Paris, oh, amazing. Happy American Thanksgiving from Toronto, beautiful. Oh, what's up, Adam? Dananas from SF, what's up, dude? Boulder, Colorado, let's go. India, oh, that's awesome. Milwaukee, Portland, South Texas, Denver, amazing. So many homies from so many different places. Um, let's do, let's see, classic question that I like to ask. What are people listening to right now? Can you comment in the chat any artists, labels, styles of music that you're really excited about? Let's see, Hamdi, Justice. I've heard so many people talk about the Justice tour this year and say it was amazing. I haven't seen it, but it looks crazy. Toy Tonics, reggaeton, amazing. Lots of jungle. Jay Dilla, DJ Swisherman. Oh, dude, he's awesome.
What's
What's up,
up,
Matt?
Justin?
Yo, what's good, dude? How's it going? Let's see, Stutterhouse, Mishlift, Cloudcore. Cloudcore's awesome. Grab, DVS1, Super Future, UK Garage, Hot Meal Records, Represent, Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia. I have not listened to it. Gotta check it out. Glenn S, MPH, Gabe Young, Aiden Rudd, On's Chicago 1980 EP. Gonna have to check it out. DJ Heartstring, Experts Only, EC2A. That's awesome. Wu-Tang, Black Coffee, early LA Hard House. Sky, let's go, dude. Um, your tunes, Justin. Oh, that's sweet. Um, Appreciate you. After Funk, Cream. I don't know how to say this guy's name, RHYW, but his music is so crazy. Chill Step, New Drum. I need to check it out. Gorilla, Prunk, Piv Records, nice. Bush Baby, awesome. DJ Heartstring, SciTech, Flat, 23. This morning, Jamiroquai. Sounds like a great way to start your day. Miha, shout out Miha. Stoked for Zed's Dead back-to-back Subtronics at Hijinks next month. I'm sure that'll be awesome. Mood Child, Progressive House D&B, LPGOB was awesome. Hard Groove, let's go. Funk Tribute. I'm actually doing a show with Funk Tribute in Amsterdam in February. Pretty excited about that. Techno Trance, Hard Groove. Awesome. This is great. Okay, sweet. Really cool to see. Love the range, love the variety. Maybe one last question. Okay, so let me see thumbs. Can you a uh give me a thumbs up if you have made music before in any way, and give me a thumbs down if you're brand new. Let me just see. Keep them up. I'm gonna fly around the screen. Okay, this is cool. Cool, awesome. Okay, sweet. So some thumbs up, some thumbs down. This is great. Really, really excited. And then, so obviously, if there's people here who might be brand new to making music, which is so exciting. And I hope that today shows that it doesn't need to be as complicated and overwhelming as it might seem, which it really can feel so overwhelming when you are first learning. And even when you are a more experienced producer, there's so many possibilities that I feel like it can be really daunting to dive in. I'm curious, for people who have made music before, um, can you, I want you guys to comment in the chat if you've ever grappled with perfectionism, or self-judgment when you're making music, comment what it's been like if you've, maybe struggled finishing tracks, felt like your songs aren't good enough. Let's see, writer's block, anything like that. Just curious what people are feeling. Never finishing tracks all the time. I got like a million unfinished tracks in the vault. In any art form, you look at others' work, then feel discouraged. I'm bald because of it. Lots of self-doubt, for sure. It slows the whole process to a near nothing. Totally. Songs are never done. Self-sabotage. Mixing and mastering is scary. I feel validated. Amazing. Breaks out. Perfectionism is my biggest enemy. Spiraling. I'm my best worst critic. Connor, what's up? So many songs are 90% done. Hard to get to 100. Overcooking tracks. Okay, sweet, awesome. So I think perfection. Yeah, this is. Yeah. Oh, I feel you all so deeply. And one thing that I just want to put out there, I feel like grappling with perfectionism, with this sort of self-judgment, grappling with the question of not knowing if your song is done, I feel like it really is like a lifelong journey to grapple with these things. It's, I think artists at all levels struggle with these issues. And, I've been releasing music and touring as a artist for over 10 years, and I've released, hundreds of songs, and still will find myself on occasion grappling with that perfectionism, with those same sort of feelings and questions and insecurities. And I just want everyone to know it's just so normal. And I think such a big part of making music is overcoming those insecurities, overcoming those negative voices. And the cool thing is it doesn't matter whether or not you have those voices. All that matters is that you don't allow them to stop you, and you just keep on going. And on the other side of that, I feel like it's just amazing, because I think, we can be our own toughest critic. And when you get out of your own way, just like magical things can happen. And so the theme for this weekend is getting past our own self-judgment and just saying fuck it, and hopefully having some fun. And I think these same ideas, I feel like very much apply to people who are brand new. Maybe you're overwhelmed, maybe you've been DJing, or maybe you just have, a really amazing taste for music, and the idea of creating something yourself is just super scary. I want to, maybe before going much deeper, I want to talk a little bit about this weekend as a whole. Really awesome seeing so many of you today. Just a little kind of overview of what the plan is. So today I'm going to give everyone a challenge for making a song. Tomorrow, my friend Danny Goliger is going to do a lecture that's more specific on drum grooves and drum programming. And it's going to be super awesome. And you can use that to inspire you to make another song if you'd like. And then on Sunday's going to be a really awesome day where we're going to meet back up and talk about getting songs across the finish line. We'll listen to some songs, and we'll break out into smaller groups to do some show and tell. It'll be a really good chance for you to connect with each other. It's one of my favorite things. So yeah, and all three of these days are going to be recorded. I do recommend, dropping in whenever you're free, and, using this opportunity to really meet each other as well. Because it's just one of my favorite parts about doing this is, we're all here because we love music, and we're all interested in making music. And I think it's so much harder to do by yourself, like completely objectively. And you don't need to be isolated. You don't need to be by yourself while exploring music. Having community, I just feel like, is so important, so powerful, to have people who can talk you off the ledge when you are thinking about deleting that song, to have someone say, no, finish that track, or, someone to, show you a cool new, technique or this or that. I feel like it's so important for me to not be isolated myself as an artist. And thankfully there's an awesome group of 200 people on a Friday afternoon here in the States. So meet each other, connect. Also, one thing that I feel like I should just give a heads up about, a bunch of people were asking about this like kind of 4-week, 6-week boot camp that I do that's more intense. Appreciate all the people who've been applying. If you wanted to apply, there's still some spots left. It fills up every year. I'm going to talk more about it on Sunday, but Kate, if you want to drop the link for anyone who was itching to do it before they forgot, feel free to drop that. But that aside, let's get into music. So I want to talk about some of the strategies that we can use to overcome perfectionism. And I feel like this is something that I've literally actively done on songs before. And I think what's funny is like some of these ideas might sound so ridiculous, and especially people who are more experienced, you might be sitting at your computer being like, what the heck is Justin talking about? This sounds so dumb. But I feel like if you approach these things with a really open mind, you might have a lot of fun, and you might get something when you least expect it that you actually really like, and that can really work. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready to be super open-minded, try some new things. If you're brand new or experienced, let's go. Appreciate all you guys. Okay, sweet. So the theme for today is a challenge that I love giving people, and I call it the gnarly challenge. And it's called the gnarly challenge because what we're going to do, for those that are like more experienced, is we're going to make a song with like distortion on the master of our track, which is like a big no-no. If you're going to like learn how to make music in a very like conventional way, this is something that like a music teacher I feel like would never recommend. But I actually think it's really an incredible way to get out of the writer's block, start having fun, and most importantly, give zero fucks. So there's also an idea behind this challenge, and that's the way that I like to teach people how to make music, especially from the standpoint of simplicity, is to look back in time. And right now we're on Ableton or making music on our computers, and you can have literally hundreds and hundreds of tracks. Myself, I've made songs that have 200, 300 tracks. They get so complicated. But many of the most timeless, classic house and techno songs were made with very, very simple pieces of equipment. Tape recorders where you could only record maybe 4 tracks. And many great, house and techno songs might have been made with just one drum machine, one keyboard, maybe a microphone. In the past, I've shown videos of Jeff Mills, who can literally rock the crowd with just the 909 drum machine and literally nothing else. So, if you look back in time, people have been making great house songs, great techno songs with very, very simple studio setups, pieces of equipment, etc. And I'm just going to play one example that will forever be one of my favorite house songs, and it's by the legendary DJ Dion, rest in peace. Me and my friend Connor, who's here, we just released a song earlier this year that sampled him, and we got to clear the sample and get it properly released, which is like such a surreal experience. One of my favorite DJ Dion songs. You give me a thumbs up if you can hear my computer. So this song is really cool. It's so simple. It's literally 3 sounds. It's a 909 drum machine, a synth that he used for the bass line, and then the vocals. 3 sounds.
Where you from? Who you with? 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 Where you
The synth comes in and out. You can hear like the drums haven't even changed.
Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Where you
takes out the bass line, puts in the 909 toms.
Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Where you from? Who you with? Where you from?
Really, really simple track. And I just think there's something so magnificent about how simple it is. Making music can be. And I feel like, you know, making music obviously can get really complex if you'd like it to. But I think, you know, if you want to get good at making songs, I feel like an important thing is to move through the entire process and not just get stuck on making the most amazing loop of all time. So the reason that I think this challenge is going to be so useful for people is because we're going to force ourselves to keep things really, really simple in terms of how many layers, how many sounds, and that's going to make the rest of the process really easy. You know, it's hard to mix a track when you have 100 different layers. It's much easier to mix a track when you have 3 layers, and then mastering, etc. So let's move over to Ableton and try making a track in the spirit of this challenge. So I sent out, and I'll send it again after this lecture, but I made like a little mastering thing that you can download and put on your track. So if you're brand new to Ableton or if you're more experienced, I think I sent it out over email, and you'll get it again. But if you look up and download JJ Gnarly Master 2024, and when you download it, if you click, let's go to this view, you can switch views, by the way, by clicking tab. Here's your main. Oops, I need to move zoom out of the way. The main, which is like your master. If you just drag my little preset into this channel by clicking on it, you're now going to be able to have the gnarly master, and it'll make more sense. By the way, I will also send out intro to Ableton links so that you can watch some like basic tutorials in case I move too quickly on anything. Another thing that I sent out is the JJ909 2023, even though it's from last year, I think it still works great. And what you can do is download that, and you can drag it straight from your downloads into one of these tracks. And let's see, so here, let me just show you what's happening. So if we make a little area and do Shift Command M, you know, highlight a square. This is now what's called a MIDI clip, where we can add notes. And if we click it and do Command L, now it'll be looped. I'm going to just speed up this BPM to like 140-ish, which I feel like will be a fun speed for this type of track. And let me make sure that my Zoom audio is working. Okay. So what's cool about the 909 drum machine, it is just a classic drum machine that's been used, you know, since the beginning of dance music. And you'll hear these sounds and it's just timeless. So let's listen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you hear this? Okay, sweet. Just double checking. Amazing. So when it comes to making music, you know, we can load up a drum machine and just draw a bunch of dots, even just randomly. And here, let's see what happens. You know, this will be like very messy and probably just like annoying, but just want to show what's possible. I'm just trying to draw a bunch of dots. Okay, cool. So, and then with the gnarly master, here's how it sounds without it. Sounds very clean. With this master, we can just make it crazy sounding. If you want to go more gnarly, you can just turn this knob up. But I think at the bottom is a nice balance. So what I'm going to do is show what are the most essential parts that go into making a song. And my hope is that within, let's call it, I don't know, I think if I wasn't talking at all, I feel like we could crank out a song that I could DJ maybe in like 30 minutes. And so the whole lens that I'm going to kind of go through everything is with the lens of like, how can we get this song done It's like a really good milestone to get to, because if you are a DJ or have a friend who's a DJ, if you can get the song done enough so that someone can DJ it, I think you are often like 99% there. And also, when you play a song for a crowd, you have the chance to get almost like the feedback to know if your song is working. And, you know, it's funny, like even for me, this can still be a factor where, you know, sometimes I'll be working on a song and I'll be really, really unsure. But if I can get it on my USB to DJ, so it's, you know, excuse me, like 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long, rough mix, rough master, and I can play it for a crowd. There's times where I'll play that track and maybe I'll be really unsure and questioning if it's good enough or this or that, and I'll play it and it might get a really good reaction, or I'll play it and I'll be able to tell, oh, this section just was too long. This section felt really boring. This section felt too short, you know, maybe in terms of other aspects, you know, this section felt like it was missing something. You can sometimes feel these intuitions better when you take it out of just your bubble where you're in the studio listening to the track by yourself for hours and hours over and over again. So that's sort of the finish line. Does that make sense to people? Trying to get your song so that you can DJ it? Okay, cool. Amazing. So let's talk about what is needed for a song to be good on the dance floor. And one thing I'm also going to do, there's a plugin that I really like to help me see what's happening. It's called Mini Meters, and I'll send a link out to it. But this plugin it just allows us to see the waveform of the track. So you'll see what I mean. So as we add sounds, let's do this. Kick drum. My computer might be a little angry at us. Oh, geez. On my end, it's sounding crazy. I might have to turn this off. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Some audio issues. Hold on. Are we having a bad computer day? Let's see. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Okay, yeah, this is not working. Hey Kate, can I make you the host? I'm gonna quickly leave and come back and see if this helps. Hold on. So sorry, guys. Let me quit Zoom and reopen it. 1 sec. I'll be 30 seconds.
Huh. All right then. He's frozen, right? Well, yeah, well, while we're waiting, yeah, apparently there was a mistake with the links. So instead of hyperlinking the 909, we linked a Discord link, which we'll send out an updated Discord link. He's back, but he's still frozen. Hey, Justin, can you talk? And Taylor, I don't know if the link works for whatever version of Ableton you have. We're going to be checking on that, and it's not going to happen during the session today, but it will definitely happen before tomorrow's session. So please just be patient with us while we wait on that. And yeah, when you hyperlink like a million things, one of them is bound to be wrong. But I did see in the chat that some other folks are using just the stock Ableton 909, and that's working great. Let me just check my texts and make sure. Okay.
Awesome. Kate, thank you so much for the help. I really appreciate it. Okay, sweet. All right, let's see. Hopefully. Okay. It sounds a little glitchy on my computer, but hopefully this works. Sometimes technology can be annoying. Okay. All right, so really hope this works okay. There's only a few basic things that we need for a track to work on the dance floor. The most important thing is a kick drum, which you know, for this will be like in the spirit of like house and techno, putting a kick drum on every beat, just like this, kick 909. On this drum rack, I really like the bottom kick. It's really nice. I'm going to create a new MIDI track and have everything separated just so that we can see. Let's do another JJ909. Boom. I'm going to click and drag it here. So the kick drum, this is what is kind of what grounds the whole track, makes everyone dance. Often it's the loudest sound in a given song. Now you'll notice there's a lot of space between the kick and here. I'm going to open up Minimeter, see if this works again. No. Okay. The audio might be a little fucked up. I don't know if you guys can, does it sound like weird? For me, there's like a little bit of pops. G, I'm looking at you. You're giving me the thumbs up. It's great. Okay, sweet. So if you guys see, there's a lot of space between these kicks. And what we can do is fill that space by putting in toms. And if you notice here, the toms, or you could use a bass sound, the toms fill in space between the kicks. And this right here is exactly what I want to see when I am producing a track. Also, I just noticed my camera's off. Okay, let's see if that helps. Okay, so really, really simple. We're like, I would say 50% done. 50% done with our track. The next thing that's really important is for there to be drums. And out of all the drums that we could add to a track, there's really only one sound for house and techno that's essential, and that is the hi-hat. And to have that hi-hat on every, what's called an upbeat, which would be between every kick drums. This is, on this grid, it would be 1.1.3, 1.2.3, 1.3.3, 1.4.3. This is all we need for drums. And right here, like this track, with 100% confidence, I could play this on the dance floor and it would make people dance. It has all the right things. One thing that's really important is that the kick is louder than the bass, which is definitely the case. And we have this hi-hat that's just keeping the groove going. We could obviously add more drums, like a clap on beat 2 and 4 can always be nice for house music. Let's see. Oops. Where's this clap? Is this not working? Oh, it's solid. Here we go. Super, super simple. But this is all you really, really need. And if you're making a different type of track, instead of the tom, you could use a bass line. You could obviously use different sounds, but part of the challenge here is if you stick with an old school drum machine, all the sounds that you use are going to be really cohesive and it's just going to work really effortlessly. And as other artists hear your track, they're going to hear these old school drum machine sounds and be like, damn, this person is so legit. They really know what they're doing. And it's just kind of like a hack to get a really great sound with very little effort. Okie dokie. So the last thing that you need in here, I'll just let me just write this down for everyone to see. Here, so all you need in a track is kick, bass or toms, drums, which like mainly hi-hat on the upbeat. I'll just say hi-hat on the upbeat. That's like the essential thing. And the fourth thing is mids. So this could be vocals / synths. Now the mids, I feel like, are often where producers struggle the most with getting out of a loop, with getting a song finished. If someone mentions like Tyler, the Creator, for instance, if you are listening to most kinds of music, like let's say vocal driven music, the mids would be like the voice, and what keeps a song interesting is the different sections in a song. If it's a classic pop song, it would be the verses and the choruses, etc. For a lot of dance music, whether it has vocals or not, the mids are a really important sort of frequency, because that's where our ears really kind of like get hooked onto. And if there's nothing happening or changing in the mids, the song will feel boring, even if it has an incredible groove. And I think someone like Jeff Mills, he can keep the mids of a song really interesting by just using the drum machine. And, it's like a couple of these drum sounds do have, sort of these mid-range frequencies, the mids, the rim, the snare, clap. This drum machine doesn't have it, but the cowbell, for instance, it's another like mid-range sound. And just want to show how, really quickly, if I add a bunch of claps, how this all of a sudden, maybe I'll throw in a snare as well. Now there's going to be some stuff in the mid-range that keeps our ears kind of like interested. So here's without this extra layer. Cool. So those mid-range frequencies, what I love about this like view right here. So, often, these three categories that I talked about, the kick and the bass, those will often show up as, red or orange colors on a waveform like this, or if you use record box or Serato, it's the same thing. The drums, like the hi-hats and stuff, will often be blue. The mids will often be green, and obviously these drums, there's like a little bit of blues as well, but just to show people what it looks like. If I use this EQ, we can kind of like isolate the frequencies in the mids, the green. So, and the way this works, these frequencies, it goes from low to high as a rainbow. So that's why low frequencies are red, red, orange, yellow. Then the mids would be yellow, green. The highs would be blue, purple. Okay, so what do we do with the mids? We have like a classic drum machine that's great for the other elements. We can use like rims and claps and snares as part of it, but one of the easiest things we can use is our voice. We can also sample, but I think using our voice, it's a really fun way to, get a bit of yourself on the track in a way that no one else can copy. And it's just like a really great way to be silly and have fun. Check, check, check. Okay, cool. So I'm going to, now an important part of this challenge, this is like really where I know that some of this stuff for more experienced producers might have been like a bit obvious. This is the most defining part of this challenge. If you want to make a song quickly, you really need to give no fucks whatsoever. And I think a big part of this challenge can be leaning into the feelings of like making a silly song, making a stupid song, because I feel like if you really let go of your judgment, doing all the clicking and dragging that's required to get a song across the finish line is really not that difficult. And so I'm going to record some vocals. Check, check. And I'm going to record something really simple to start. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, just a little and let's just put that here. Let's see how this sounds. With the distortion. Okay, cool. Okay, sweet. Super janky. And what's fun about the distortion is it just makes everything way crazier. So, what I can do is now that this little vocal chop is in the track, I can copy and paste it, maybe have it play twice. And now there's something in the mid-range for us to enjoy. And we can really start to build the track off of this. And a really powerful, sort of way to use the mids also is, in a buildup versus a drop, to try to have contrast between, lots of mids versus, maybe a more, stripped mid-range. So here's me. I just copied and pasted a bunch of these small chops. And if I do Command J, that freezes them together. And I can drag this dot to make them get louder. Super simple, nothing crazy, but very effective. So a lot of people, they get stuck on this loop section, and maybe they have a loop, and whenever they try to extend the track into a full song, it gets difficult. And we're going to talk about two very basic techniques. Once you have your kick, your bass, your drums, something in the mid-range, what you need to do is, I guess there's 3 steps. You need to zoom out, then copy what you have. So I'm going to do Command D, and let's copy it even just twice. And then you can decide if you want to change anything. So if now this section is twice as long, let's listen. So that feels pretty good already. But what I can do is I can try to make one thing different and add maybe a small extra chop here. So now we've created a little variation. I'll change the color of this so we can see it. Cool. And now let's zoom out, copy. I'm going to do Shift Command D with this section highlighted. And now let's listen to the whole thing and see if we want to tweak this part. Cool. So I tweaked it. Very simple. Obviously, this is like nothing crazy, but just we're creating a little bit more variation. And I did this by doing Command D. If you do Shift Command D, it will copy everything in the track. If you just do Command D, it copies everything that you've just highlighted. So now what we're doing is this mid-range where, the uhs, it's a very simple sound, but we're now getting some variation, which will keep the listener interested. And this, if you look at the number of bars, we started at 33 and now we're at 37. So this is 4 bars. In dance music, a really good number to keep in mind is 8. 8 is kind of where we often expect change to happen. So let's take this whole section and copy it one more time. And you can notice that the little fills that we've been doing are also being copied. And here, let's do maybe, I'm going to just add maybe a couple more. Why don't we do like this? Yeah, and I'll change it up. Why don't we do that? I'm going to copy the big one and just put it here and get this one like this. So that way it's just a little different. And honestly, it doesn't even really matter what we do. It's just, we're just trying to create variation. Okay, sweet. So this sample, we could probably make a whole track just by using it. But I think, maybe we can add one more vocal idea and let's record one more thing. So I'm just gonna be like, whoa, this track is gnarly. Okay, let's see. I think my zoom is acting crazy and it's like pitching up my voice.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
All right, so what we can do is take, when you have like a vocal that has these different shapes.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
You can take little snips and get other sounds, as well as like full words.
This track is gnarly.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna take this. I like this shape, how it's kind of like chunky. Let's see what it sounds like. Maybe. That's a nice, I'm looking for like a little vowel. Okay, cool. Sick. Okay. So with this, I just tried to find a little vowel. This is like the E sound of gnarly. And we're just going to lean into this being like really silly. Okay, cool. So, boom. We have this whole 8-bar section. This is, 33 to 81. I'm going to just take the whole thing and do Shift Command D. And here, instead of the uhs, I'm going to just delete them. And maybe I'll do this on a new track. But now we're going to do a different section. And I think what we can do, which should be fun, is I'll take the whole, this track is gnarly vocal and just put it here and use this as the fill for this section. Okay, cool. All right, so let's listen.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. And now let's do something with this E sound. So one thing that I think is really useful when it comes to your mid-range, this is like a classic songwriting technique. For your different sections, and we'll call this, section 1. If you have a mid-range idea, when you have like a phrase, it's good to notice where does it begin. And this pattern starts on measure 33 on the downbeat, on beat 1. So maybe for this idea over here, we can have it start late. Instead of being on the beat, we can have it start late. And there's pretty much always 3 options. You can either have an idea start on the beat, before the beat, or after the beat. And here, I'm gonna just put in a bunch of random slices of this vocal. And I'm just trying to fill in space. And let's see how this goes. Okay, let's listen. Cool. Cool, pretty random, but just gets the job done. We're just using this chop to fill in the space and to create rhythm. And what we can do, just like the last one, the last idea is we can duplicate it. If we want, create a variation. Maybe I'll just move this here and see how that feels. Okay, sweet. And so what's great about this is we now have like a nice contrast between this section and this section where the mids are very sort of spacious here versus this section, they're a lot busier. And in this section, the mids start on the downbeat. This section, they start late. So this whole example, just to remind you, it's like, these are just I'm giving you all some tools that you can use as you compose tracks to help, guide the songwriting process and to keep the track interesting. So let's listen from the top, have this build up.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. And one thing that I just thought of while listening to this is like, what if for a variation in this idea, we use the whoa? So let's listen. There's like an idea that just came to my head.
Whoa. Whoa.
Just putting the whoa in there. It's super silly, but this just thought, oh, that would make the section pop a little bit more.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And so this is section 2. And now, so what's great is this whole drop, if you will, has like a nice flow. And if we wanted to, we could change the drums here. I feel like we don't actually need to. So I think I'll just be lazy. And let's, for a variation for the second half, why don't we repeat this track is gnarly thing, which I guess would go here. All right, so let's listen.
Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, and then I just got inspired. I was like, what if we just take this one syllable and just, highlighted a very short snip and just did Command D to like repeat it over and over again. What this is doing is, we're going from a lot of space to less space to literally no space in the mids. Give me a thumbs up if you're following me with what I'm talking about by the mids, right? It's like the vocals. What we're doing is we're creating dynamic or contrast by moving between lots of vocal to little vocal. And this is like what's going to keep the track interesting, builds the tension. And we're doing this like without any really fancy plugins or anything like that. But so I think this will be like a nice buildup. And what we can do is we can recycle this idea as well. Maybe this time we'll have it start twice as long. And let's see, have it fade in.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
I'm thinking, honestly, I feel like I would even like it to come in sooner. I'm just going to take this and do Shift Command Delete so that this section is shorter.
Gnarly.
And then maybe, so this is going to feel like a buildup. And then let's just take like the whoa and then maybe put it here. And then we'll cut everything early. So
Whoa, this
okay, cool. Sweet. So this section, I feel like without any of the drums, it's losing a little bit of momentum. So maybe we can keep some of the drums in.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And maybe here we can add some extra drums so that we can feel the intensity kind of building, maybe some snares.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And I just copying it. Maybe we fill in some more snares here to feel the energy increase.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And then I'm thinking, here we go even crazier. And then we cut the vocals in this last beat, so let's cut the drums too. So I'm just gonna go like that.
Whoa.
Okay, cool. And then another fun thing here, I'm gonna join these clips together by doing Command J. Like a classic like trance idea would be to use like the symbol, go like, put it here, like maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's listen to that. Great. And then now that we have this whole section, we can take all of it and do Shift Command D. And now our track is grown to be twice as long. And here, what I've done is I've just copied the whole thing. So this is like the coolest part about making music. This is an area where I feel like a lot of people struggle, is once you get a section to feel good, you don't have to waste it and try making the rest of the song from scratch. You can then zoom out, duplicate, and then tweak stuff to make it sound different. So let's listen.
Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa.
Okay, so here, what I'm thinking to make this section different is I feel like we've had so much vocal playing that now maybe having much less vocal could be nice. So maybe I take a bunch of these and delete them like this, because now this will be a little bit different. And I think this is probably fine. And maybe here we also add some more drums, maybe a rim shot. Let's see, let's try this. And maybe we add some more hi-hats as well. So I'm just adding these closed hats. And maybe we add an extra clap here. So this section is now different. Let's listen.
Is gnarly.
I'm thinking maybe here we just keep the energy building. Let's add a ride cymbal. Let's see how this feels. That's cool. That could definitely happen somewhere in the song. So maybe I'll copy and paste this over here. But I'm thinking maybe, let's see. I'm feeling something funky, like maybe instead of putting just on every beat, I'm just gonna do more like random shit. Okay, so me just randomly pressing dots, just trying to fill the space. And let's go to the ride sound and reduce the decay to make it funkier. Here's what it sounds like normally. Okay, so just shortening it. Shorter sounds in general are more funky, and that's like a big part of why I think this track is working. So let's bring back everything. Here we go.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And what I'd like to do is, if you right click on the decay time for the ride, where did it go? Where is it? Ride. Right click, show automation. You can have this go from short to long, which I think will make this section more interesting. If you hold down Option, this can bend the line.
Gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. And now this section is repeating, but maybe this time we do it a little differently. I'm thinking, I don't want to hear so much vocal. Let's do, oh, you know what could be fun? This is something I'd love to do. This is like a very much like a UK garage type of idea. If we right click, set 1.1, we can press these buttons to stretch the vocal. And if we do this, textures, maybe what we'll do is I'll put this here. Let's listen to how this sounds.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Let's see, maybe stretch a little less.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Split the difference. I'm gonna drag it like here.
Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly.
If you mess with the grain size, it changes what the stretching is like. I did ruin this. So here, let me just take this, copy and paste. So what I'm doing is instead of having the whoa, this track is gnarly thing at the end, I'm moving it to the beginning of the next phrase. Let's see, this might make it easier to see. And I stretched it. So a big part of this, once you have like your mid-range ideas, a big part of it becomes recycling the stuff that you already have instead of necessarily always adding completely brand new ideas. If you take something that already exists and you mess with it, then it's great because your song will be more cohesive and it'll just be easier.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. Honestly, that's totally fine. Let's see how long the track is. So right now it is 1 minute. Yeah, I think we can just be lazy and copy it one more time like this. And maybe this time, Another thing that we can do to keep it interesting is maybe this ride idea keeps on playing. So I'm just going to copy and paste it into this section like so. Okay, cool.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. And to make this, so I just copied and pasted the whole thing. We've had a lot of drums playing. And so just like how I'm thinking about the vocals, where there was a lot of vocals, let's go to less vocals. We've now had a lot of drums. Maybe in this section, we strip away the drums and delete some stuff.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And cool, so simple, but already we're creating a new moment. We've never had a moment in this track where the kick and bass or kick and toms play without any other drums. This moment feels like very kind of like suspenseful. Then I also kind of like on a whim decided to cut all of the sounds so that this vocal could play by itself. That kind of creates a new moment.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
And maybe something else we can do is, you know, to make this section longer, because I feel like if this is where the kick and bass came in, here, let me label this so you can see kick and bass. We haven't been dancing for that long. And I feel like it could be fun to just go here. I'm going to take all of this and delete it. So Shift Command Delete, because now all the faster drums come in. And maybe here, I'm trying to think what we have yet to do. We could bring back the super simple uhs and put those here, and then maybe delete these, or maybe have both of them play. Let's see. Let's listen.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Maybe I'm gonna do this. I might want to come up with like a new idea that combines the two of them. Let's see if we can figure something out. So here's both of them at the same time. That does work. I'm just gonna try muting a bunch of them randomly and see how that feels. We'll take this and copy it. See if this feels all right. This one felt a little off. Maybe I'll just put it there. Okay. Cool. So now it's like nice because it's a little bit less busy than this, but now this is the first time in the track that the uhs are playing with the short chops. And so let's just copy this. Maybe we'll take that out. No, none of that for now. That's probably fine. Let's listen. Okay. Cool. With everything else. Cool. Let's listen from here.
Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. So now let's see how long the track is. We're at 1:55. So I feel like we're at this point, we're pretty close to being done. I think we've had two very small breakdowns where the kick and bass are out. I think this would be a nice time to have a section that's a bit longer where the kick and bass is out, like maybe one final kind of pause. And so let's rearrange some stuff to make this happen. So I think let's take this is like a really crucial thing. So a lot of producers, they come up with a great kick, baseline, drum groove, and they struggle creating breakdowns. Now, to create a breakdown, the most important thing is that your kick and bass are removed from the track. And to remove your kick and bass from the track, you need to have other things playing, mainly your mids, to keep the song interesting. And so that's what's great about what we've done here, is because there's all these vocal ideas, there's a lot of mid-range stuff to work with.
This track is gnarly.
I'm thinking for this section, maybe we do just like a small gnarly.
This track is gnarly.
Even that by itself, I feel like is pretty effective.
This track is gnarly.
And then maybe let's start building back the drum sounds. So it's kind of like, this would be a moment where, you know, the beat stops and there's just this one sound that keeps playing. And I feel like often these moments can be really impactful for the crowd.
This track is gnarly.
Bring the clap in. Maybe we bring back this chop, which we just did here. Cool. So you can see I'm just like building back the rhythmic elements so that there's more rhythm that's starting to take place. I'm just grabbing, oh, whoops, I guess this all could just be up there. Yeah, so this is drums. But this is and this is gnarly. Okay, cool. All right, so let's put the hi-hat back in, which is over here.
This track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. And what I want to do is I'm just going to keep on recycling. So I think at a point like this, I'm going to look backwards and see what have I done in the past that could be useful. I like this idea. Honestly, we could even just take this whole section. And here, if I go like this, I'm going to highlight all of this and do Shift Command D. And now let's just piece this build up together. So all that is just this track is gnarly.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Okay, cool. So let's bring this together. I feel like this should go here. And this might want to just be on a new track. Let's just do that. Boom. So I'm just copying and pasting this. I think this whole section could be, let's see how long this is, 16 bars. Yeah. So this will be how long the section is.
This track is gnarly. This track is gnarly.
Okay, here, maybe one thing that we can do that we haven't done. So let's just throw more drums at this track. So like maybe throw like one kick drum here. Let's see. I'm gonna have I'm just copying and pasting the kicks to match these crashes. And then maybe put more kicks. Just gonna put more dun, dun, just randomly kind of copying stuff. Yeah, maybe like this. Maybe cutting everything here. I don't know. Let's see. Cool. That'll be nice. And maybe, do we want to have anything else happen? Let's see. I mean, honestly, I think that's fine. I don't think we really need much else. Just by adding more drums, more sounds, the intensity is definitely building up. Let's listen from the beginning of this section.
This track is gnarly. This track is gnarly.
I think there's a couple little issues to just fill this out. I think I realize the uhs stop. And I think if we just put one last here before these fade in, that could help. I kind of want it to keep on going, actually. Let's see. Okay, cool. I don't know about this. Maybe yes, maybe no. Pretty much because there's us here that are fading in. I feel like if I just take out these us once they get to around full volume, kind of works. This section also feels a little boring. It's a breakdown. There's no kick and bass, so it would make sense that more mids might help make it feel better. And I think one thing we could try to do is put the stretched vocals somewhere here, maybe. Maybe like here, and maybe like pitch them down.
This track is gnarly.
All right, let's hear that. So
This track is gnarly.
and then maybe this could get stretched even more and start going crazy. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, cool. If I do Command J, I can stretch it even more. Let's see, crossfade these. Hold on, let's do that. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's listen again.
This track is gnarly.
Cool. And honestly, the stripped I think is pretty nice in this section. There was this like idea that we never used about with the rides on every beat. Let's try it maybe. I don't know if that'll feel nice or not. Let's see, show automation. Let's bring this back to full. Okay, because it's kind of like the peak drop of the song. It works, but honestly, I feel like it's just not as groovy. I think, we can just put a crash cymbal here.
Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm actually totally fine with it being the same. The crash wasn't there on the first drop, and also because this section is so different, this is actually something that's really cool. You can get away with your drops being copies of themselves pretty easily if the transitions into them are different, which I feel like we've just added so much that now I don't even think we really need to do anything special here because this moment is so unique within the track. So I think here we have more elements coming in. I think we're just ready to like go to an outro pretty much, which I think we could go back to this loop over here. So I just highlighted that, Shift Command D. Maybe we copy and paste this here. Just that way the drums go up and then down. And then maybe all of this is unnecessary. And I think we're pretty much home free. Maybe here we just take out the small slices and just do the woes. That could be nice for an outro. And okay, cool. So let's listen to this.
Whoa, this track is gnarly. Whoa, this track is gnarly.
Cool. And I think that's like fine for an outro. And then we just need a little bit of an intro. For that, we can just have these drums. I feel like a good intro could just be, you know, let's see, even just 8 bars. We could even just start it like that. Throw one up. Maybe here we take out the kicks. Okay, cool. All right, so this song is now 3 minutes, 24 seconds. And, you know, literally just, you know, if we go back to this beautiful note, only 4 things that we need: kick, bass or toms, which we use toms in this, drums, hi-hat on the upbeat is the only thing that's like absolutely essential. We added more to just keep it interesting. And then mids, vocals and synths. And you can see the way that this track works is the kick and bass go in and out to create little breakdowns. So just to like analyze what ended up happening. I'm gonna delete these markers. But so this is maybe like drop 1. I'm not even gonna number it. This is little break. Okay, then drop, little break, and then drop, and then big break, and then drop. Cool. And then, you know, call this the outro. Boom. And what's cool is this track, I feel like, has a bunch of unique moments. But it's really a combination of you do a loop, you stretch it out, you then duplicate it, and you keep on going. Here, let me save this. File, save live set as. Gnarly. This track is gnarly. Okay. Boom. Forgot to save. In general, it's good to save earlier. Collect all and save can be another good thing to do. And let me bounce. Oh, so mixing and mastering. So what's cool about the drum rack that I sent everyone, the JJ909, but even the stock Ableton 909, it's mixed really well. So we don't need to really worry about the volume of it, of the individual drum sounds. And all we need to worry about is the volume of the vocals, but I think they're fine. So, you know, if the vocals were like really quiet, for instance, if it sounded like this, that would be annoying. So we just want, you know, a good way to mix is, you know, if you're unsure, you know, you start with, you know, your kick, your main sound. And as you mix each sound, as you introduce each new sound, you can start with bring the volume all the way down. And start to play with the volume until it's not too loud, not too quiet. That's too loud, too quiet. I actually did really like where it was, which was just at 0. Sure. Drums. Honestly, they just sound so fun. They sound great, you know, without even messing with the mix. The vocals, let's do these. This track is gnarly. I think that's fine at 0 too, but this is how I would be mixing it, mostly just focused on volume. For a track this simple, I don't think we need any EQs, any compressors, because everything just has its own space. And then this gnarly master is actually mastering the track for us also. So normally the way that I would master a track, I'll show everyone my process by turning this off. We're going to lose some of the character, but I just add a limiter plugin. And then normally I mess with the input gain until this yellow meter is hitting around -6. Between -6 and -12. Whoa, this track is gnarly. That's normally what I would do. I feel like this this gnarly master is just pushing everything like louder. So I feel like it's yeah, just kind of getting the job done. And we sort of made the track mixing into the master anyways. So I feel like we're kind of done here. I'm going to bounce this down. Let's see. Boom. 909 challenge. This track is gnarly. V1. It really has everything that I'm looking for. And really quick, I just want to show one last little example of how you can do this challenge in a way that, like, you know, might be more meaningful. I really do recommend, if you've been grappling with perfectionism, going through the motions of just cranking out a song with, you know, a basic structure, mix, master, export it. I feel like this is really good practice because, you know, even if you don't love the idea that you're working on, to get practice building up a whole song structure, you know, getting the master right, etc., is really good practice because each of these skills, when it comes to making a song from start to finish, the skills of creating a loop versus structure versus mixing, mastering, they're all different skills. And the key is to get practice developing these various skills so that way it becomes so that way when you have a really great idea, you have the developed skills to actually finish it. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle with finishing songs, because maybe they haven't finished that many. And sometimes you just need to practice learning how to finish songs. So this same idea that I just showed you, by the way, this track, you know, was made completely just with like an original vocal. But the same idea can work really well if you find an acapella that you like. And I just want to show people, here's like an acapella. There's an acapella that I found, and I was kind of doing this last night just for fun, where I was doing the similar sort of chops. And, you know, I could take these small little snippets of the vocal, reveal a little bit more, just kind of like I did in the last song, and then build a whole song structure out of this. And if there's time, maybe I'll mess with that, maybe like, you know, for tomorrow. And then I could build like a whole song just with a super small bit of vocal. And then maybe at the peak, reveal this like larger sample, which I think is really fun.
Like I ain't got a header to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken while she texting me. Why she keep calling my phone, speaking sexually? Every time I'm out, why she stressing me? You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany. You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany. You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany.
let's see. Yeah. Boom. Okay, I'm just fucking around. Boom. I could take that, copy it here. This is like the busy vocal chop. Here's like the more simple one. Maybe go from long to shorter hi-hat here. And just like this, I have, full vocal, short chop, or full vocal, busy chop, short chop. I can then, I could pretty easily just take all of these different parts and just copy and paste them and make a full track, so it's, here, I'm just gonna do it really quick because I feel like this is just gonna be so fun and easy.
Like I ain't gotta hit it to the left.
Here, I kind of want to kick in for a little bit.
Like I ain't gotta hit it to the.
Maybe put the toms in also for a little.
Like I ain't gotta hit it to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken while she texting me. Why she keep calling my phone, speaking sexually? Every time I'm out, why she stressing me? You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany.
Okay, cool. And I could pretty much just like copy and paste this in reverse, and I feel like this should work. Maybe taking out a sound here. Yeah. Maybe go to the short hi-hat. Let's see, this song is 1:40. I feel like how can I just get this done really quickly? Maybe here, just trying to finish this dang song already. I'm gonna create a little bit more space. This vocal was a drop, so maybe this time it could be a buildup over here. Let's see. Oops. Oh, wait, here, no, wrong section. Boom, okay. Let's try this.
You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany.
That by itself, I feel like would totally work in the club. And then maybe a little crash. Cool. This, by the way, this 909 is the Lego Welt 909. It's a little bit more like lo-fi sounding. Big fan. I will also have it linked for anyone who wants to use that one.
You call her Stephanie?
And let's just do, let's see. We're almost done. I'm gonna take this stuff, just counting. Maybe we go like this. Put the beat here.
You call her Stephanie, I call her Heffany.
I don't even feel like I really need to do anything else there. I think it just works. I do want to put the high, the open hat back though. Let's do that. So clap short. Okay. Boom. Okay, sweet. All right, so here, let's put this here and we'll do the busy vocal here. So I'm just kind of alternating busy, simple, simple, busy, busy, simple. Just keeps on going back and forth. And I feel like this will totally work. How long is the track? How much more do we need to do? I think we're almost done. 2:17. I mean, this could be like a 3-minute track. Let's just add like a 30-second intro where we just like introduce all the sounds. Maybe just tom and kick first. Maybe hi-hat comes in here. And then maybe just a little breakdown here. Take out the kick. Oops, that deleted everything. Okay.
Why is he stressing me?
Yeah, that works. Track is 2 minutes 45 seconds. It's a little on the short side, but you know, I feel like if we wanted to, we could just duplicate this. Personally, I don't mind a track that length, but we could just have the vocal repeat twice and have it be longer. But honestly, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Like I could totally play this. And so let's bounce this one down. This is like Clooney JJ 909 remix. Okay, sweet. All right, so 2 tracks in an hour and a half. That one I did have some, you know, I had crazy thing that I feel like most people don't realize. It's like when it comes to, you know, making music for the dance floor, you know, sometimes the hardest part can be like finding a really cool vocal sample. And it's so interesting. Someone in the chat early on mentioned Hamdi as like an artist. I feel like 2 of Hamdi's biggest songs have been essentially bootleg remixes of tracks that just aren't super well known. Like there's the Skanka track, such a sick vocal, and then Princess Superstar, I think that's her name. The 1, 2, 3, 4, the counting track. You know, it's like sometimes the hardest part is finding a dope vocal, and you can end up making a really simple beat underneath it, and that can be something that like totally goes off on the dance floor. You know, I think it's really, you know, when it comes to production, I feel like, I hope you guys can see that like a basic 909 and a vocal is all that you need. The reason this gnarly challenge I think is so useful is because when you turn up the distortion, it forces you to keep things really simple. When you know, when you have distortion, you can't put a lot of sounds in the track because it'll make it really sort of like hectic. Here, I actually don't think I had the JJ Gnarly master on this, but I'm just going to put it on this track just to show. If I wanted to add a synth, let's see. I'm just going to type in synth and see, like, you know what? Even just like I'll open up a stock like operator in Ableton. You guys can hear that it's like just because the distortion already super abrasive. And the key with adding a synth would just be, I would say, if you do want to add a synth, keep the sounds really short, because the longer they are, the more annoying they'll be. Like that's going to be super annoying, but if we make it really short, much better, even shorter. Nice. And here, it's a little loud. Okay, cool. But even just this one little note, I'm going to just duplicate it. Let's talk about writing a melody real quick. I know we didn't do this. You know, a good melody is just really a good rhythm at the core. So first, if he finds like a good rhythm, this could be like a good head start. That's a good rhythm. Cool. It honestly sounds fine, even just on one note. But if you want, one of the things you can do with melodies is you can have them move up and down. And wherever, when you move notes up, it creates like a sense of, oh, this note is really important. So what we could do is maybe we could just have one note go up like this. I kind of like, even just that is pretty nice. Maybe we do a variation and put one more note up here. I feel like that's totally fine. And, I know I mentioned this track was like a little short. Maybe here we just create one last little breakdown, introduce this synth. See? I mean, that's super janky, but it totally would work. And it's kind of fun to like just not give any fucks and just be like silly with it. Maybe to keep some rhythm in, we could put the claps in if we want to. Where is it? Clap. It could just be that. I mean, that's really silly, but it does work. And there's no rules. So, but the reason I think this works is we found a sound, keeping it really short makes everything so much funkier, finding a good rhythm, and then creating some variations. Yeah. All right. I think, so and I think my biggest priority for everyone is to just have fun and not give a fuck about what you do. Because I think it's so easy when we're making music to just put so much pressure on like, oh my God, this song needs to totally represent every fiber of my being and be like the ultimate embodiment of my artistry. And I feel like that's just so much unnecessary pressure. And it's like, yeah, why don't you try to just finish a song? And like, if you really take the pressure off and just let yourself run on instinct, you might end up with great results. And I just think like, this is something that I feel like beginners have like a real advantage over, is like, when you don't know what you're doing, you might not even know which rules you're breaking. And I just think, the more we can all take inspiration from that beginner's mindset and just create without giving a fuck, make a song, run through the motions of, put a kick down, add some drums, mids, could be recording yourself. If you need acapellas, finding, like, honestly, you can just find a track you like. You can search on YouTube like acapellas and find stuff. Like, let's see, like hip hop acapellas. Big fan of like hip hop acapellas because you won't need to worry about melody if it's just like cool rhythm. But here's like a playlist of just,
I'm gonna get my piano, bring a bullet.
YouTube to MP3, make a beat, bring Eric B and Rakim to the dance floor. Like it's so easy. And I feel like, even if you're, we didn't really talk about warping audio, how to beat match a track, but even, taking one syllable that sounds cool, or what, and, or balls. You can do so much with so little. So I have a little bit firing. If you feel ready to make some music, who's feeling it? Amazing, amazing. Before we do questions, or yeah, maybe yeah, let's just dive in. So, okay, cool. Let's why don't you guys comment in the chat? I'll take a few. And just as a reminder, we're meeting again tomorrow. It'll be with my friend Danny Goliger, who's going to take a deeper dive on drum programming. Super useful, super awesome. He's incredibly talented. He just to explain who Danny is, he's an amazing artist. We've released a lot of music together on really cool labels. His music's been played everywhere from Berghain to Red Rocks, which is pretty insane. He started his journey in kind of like the pop mixing engineering world. So he has a lot of really advanced technical knowledge, and we've just collaborated for so long. We went to middle school, high school, and college together. So he's a really close friend, and we've learned so much from each other over the years. And I just, whenever I am struggling on a track or need help mixing, mastering, I always turn to Danny for my own stuff. So just trust him so deeply. And I hope that you guys roll through tomorrow. And then Sunday, we'll do a review session, talk about getting tracks across the finish line, polishing, and do the breakout rooms where we'll get into smaller groups, which is one of the best parts. So definitely don't miss that. Okay. I have, I think, about 20 minutes to hang. So hopefully we can get a few questions answered. But really appreciate everyone sticking around for this whole hang, and hope everyone's feeling inspired. And also, one last thing I'll do, I'm going to put the track that I just made in, I'm going to bounce that down so that way I can, did I master it? Yes, I did. Let me just show everyone. But for the master, it looks like.
I mean,
yeah, looks good. If this wasn't on it, I'd probably just turn up the input, but this gnarly master just pushes a lot of the the mid-range sounds up. And let me just bounce this down before I forget. Boom. Okay. Oh wait, did I? Oh, maybe I did bounce it. I forgot. I'm so silly. But let me just do this again. Okay. Anyways, questions.
Hey, Justin, you're
First time doing this. Give no fucks. That's the hardest part. Is all just about.
Hey,
Yeah, what's
Justin.
up?
Your
Yeah.
audio keeps coming in and out. I don't know if it's maybe your headphones aren't plugged in well enough or something else. Is just when you're talking.
Okay, damn. Was this happening the whole time, or is it?
It's gotten a little worse in the last 20 minutes or so.
Okay,
It was
damn.
pretty stable for the whole. It was pretty stable for the rest of the time.
Okay, I appreciate that. If it keeps on messing up, let me know.
Okay.
Damn, the internet. Oh boy. Well, thankfully we have tomorrow and Sunday as well to make up for any bad connection. Okay, sweet. But yeah, how about now, Kate? Can you hear me okay? Okay, sweet. Amazing. All right. Okay. Adam with the massive acapella download alert. Yes, let's go. That's huge. Oh, that link can't be found. All right. Let's see. How do you beat match an acapella in Ableton? Let me talk about that really quick. And I feel like a lot of people can struggle with it. So my biggest thing when I so for this Clooney track, I did not have an acapella of it, but I downloaded the snippet, and here's what it sounded like. And I threw it into an AI stem splitter like this, where you go here, choose a file, click and drag. And so you get both the instrumental and the vocal. And and this is the most important part. Whether you use the instrumental or just the original audio, what I do is I take it and I put it into like a DJ program like Rekordbox or Serato and find out the BPM, 129. And then, let's see, let me get back to Ableton. Then what you do, let's just do this all from scratch. Warp. So here is vocals. Hold on. Just put it on a new track. Oops. Hold on, sorry. Keep on messing up. Why isn't this working? Oh, that's the ASD file, vocal split. Boom. Okay. So now we've just dragged this audio in. Here's the acapella.
Like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me.
And what we need to do is click warp and then type in the BPM of the original track. So that's 129. I also just want to double check, like here, let me find this audio. 128.95. Okay, cool. So yeah, 129 seems like a good guess. And now this is playing, when you type in the BPM here, it will then speed it up to whatever, speed it up or slow it down to whatever speed your track is playing. So just to show,
Like I ain't,
if we slow this down,
like I ain't got,
very slow, that's at 39 beats per minute. Here's that 300.
like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame.
So because warp is on and the BPM is set, it's going to just snap to whatever your project is. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. We need to find the downbeat where beat 1 is. So if we listen to the track, it might be a little hard.
I call her half a day. You call her Stephanie. I call her half a day.
So here, let's listen
I
again.
call her half a day.
Akala Hefani. Okay, so I think
Like I ain't got,
a game. Okay, let's listen here.
like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken, why she texting me? Why she keep calling my phone, speaking sexually? Every time I'm out, why she stressing me?
Okay, so I'm just listening to the vocal and trying to count where's the beat.
Like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken, why she texting me? Why she keep calling my phone, speaking sexually? Every time I'm out.
So I think every time I'm out, I think is the downbeat. I'm just like listening to the vocal and counting. An easier way to do this also is just we can put the instrumental in as well. Warp it, 129. And we can match these two tracks to each other. So let's listen. Do they line up?
Like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken, why she texting me?
Okay, cool. So right here is where the beat comes in. This track is actually pretty difficult for me to tell where the downbeat is. But here's where the downbeat of the instrumental. Right here, this is where like the kick drum comes in. This is the drop. So you can notice that this is like completely off the grid and it should be at 176. So if we just grab both of them, move it here. Now, pretty much what we're doing is I'm beat matching the instrumental to the project. And because I did that with the vocal should be lined up as well. So,
like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me. Like we ain't in these streets more than sesame. But that shit chicken, why she texting me? Why she keep calling my phone, speaking sexually?
So just to recap, what you need to do is find the BPM of the sample, type it in, then make sure that it's in the right part of the phrase. So, you know, initially it was just like randomly thrown into the track here, but we needed to scooch it a few beats so that it's actually lined up on beat 1 where the kick is. And I use the instrumental for that. And then one thing that you can do, some songs it's easier, but this one, now that I've just figured out where beat 1 is, where the drop is, I can make a slice by doing Command E and then right clicking here and doing set 1.1, which will now, if I zoom out and drag this out, now everything will be on the grid.
Like I ain't got a hitter to the left of me.
And I think this one was particularly challenging because the track is a little cut off and it doesn't start in an easy place. But I think what I would do if I was doing like, let me maybe find one more example just to show, because this one was a little tricky. But here, there's like a harder, better, faster, stronger. I think I have the acapella for that. This one should be really easy. Okay, so harder, better, faster, stronger is really easy because the vocal starts on beat 1. So I think this track, if I'm remembering correctly, is like 124. So I might be wrong, but let's just say it is. So I type that in, click warp, and then I go to the beginning. And this track, it's like work it, make it. The vocal starts on beat 1. So I just zoom in, right click and do set 1.1. And I think I might be wrong about the BPM, but let's just listen.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us.
Let's put the 909 in, see if that feels okay.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us. Harder, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, okay, cool. So hopefully any issues with warping the vocal anywhere on the track, but these little arrows will often try to help you find the best spot to drag it. And you can click and then nudge things so that they fall on beat. My advice is do not get too specific about like making each shape fit right, because you might overdo it or do it the wrong way. For this type of challenge, I would say like if you're struggling to warp stuff, then do less. Like for this example, we could make a whole track out of just the first syllable of just like the work it, like, you know. Let's see, let me mute Clooney. Right here. You know, so, you know, you can just take one little syllable and make a whole track by just like chopping it up and avoiding this issue of quantizing, you know, like really quickly. Like already you can create so much awesome rhythm and like musical ideas without quantizing. So if you're new, try not to get stuck with it, use your own voice. But I hope that let's see if I can try to get a couple more. I had a picture of Justin J double fisting 2 beers on. Nice, amazing. Okay, here, questions. Okay, I think my biggest question is how to obtain that 3D sound in your overall mix. Is it really all about reverb, etc.? Taylor, I feel like that's a really great question. There's so many ways to get that 3D sound that you're talking about. You know, I feel like for the purposes of this challenge, I would say what's cool about this challenge is you do not need to worry about that for this. I'll try to answer your question, but you know, remember, I think everything that I'm trying to talk about is like, what is the bare minimum you need to do to get a song to feel good on the dance floor? And what's so funny, most club sound systems actually don't even have stereo sound. They have everything summed into mono. So everything that you do in terms of panning and fancy, spatial stuff will get lost in most clubs. And it's just kind of funny, like for these purposes, you don't need to do that. You don't need to worry. But things like panning, reverb, ping pong delays. I'm a big fan of like layering two sounds that are similar, but slightly different, than panning them to opposite sides. But so those are a couple quick ways, but for club music, that's the funniest thing, is it actually doesn't matter, which is so awesome. Like just the fact that you can like make some stuff without really putting too much effort in the details, and it could completely go off on the dance floor. Can you explain how you created the gnarly master? Okay, cool. Super silly. It's pretty much just one plugin. And here I'm gonna just show with like a new sound. Let's do 808. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, 808 drum machine, also awesome. Let's see, notes. Okay, just gonna put a little beat in. Okay, boom, boom. Let's put some hi-hats in too. Okay, so let me take all of this off, and I'll just recreate the gnarly master on this drum machine. So here's what it sounds like without anything. Here's it with saturation, which is like a kind of a more gentle distortion. So I'm just turning up the drive. Then I threw on overdrive, which is like a more gnarly distortion. But I kind of just dialed it back a lot. That was just like a little bit extra. But it's not even that necessary. And then what is really important is a limiter, which the limiter is the only plugin you need to use for mastering. And it just helps ensure that you're not going over your limit of like clipping, going into the reds. And it also allows you to make sure you're pushing the sound as hard as you can. But so that's all it is. If we look at what I actually did, JJ gnarly master. Let's see, gnarly master 2024. You can see it's those three plugins: saturator, overdrive, limiter. The one thing that I did was I just made this knob that just increases the drive. So if you want more saturation, you can have it. But it's funny. It's like even just this can help push the make the sound, make everything more hectic, which is really good, because if you're adding new sounds, like the operator synth that I showed everyone earlier, such a good example. Here is how it sounds without any effects. Let me show the waveform. No. It's a very gentle sound, nothing wrong with it. I love that gentle kind of sine wave sound, but when you have the gnarly, it just makes everything much more annoying. Like that's really annoying. If we didn't have it, it's not lovely, but it's not hurting my ears. And when you turn the gnarly master on, it forces you to keep everything really short and simple, which will make everything funkier. And it kind of forces you to like, it weirdly helps create a simpler, forces you to keep your ideas simple, which is the key for, really learning how to make an effective song for the dance floor, and learning how to finish songs. You need to start with simple ideas that you can then Any vocal processing effects, I would say for this type of challenge, just use as little as you can. And I think that's the biggest theme for today. All right, so use as little effects processing as possible. And that I think is like why this challenge is so interesting, because even if you're more experienced, you know, to get some practice realizing how little of the shit that you know is actually required to make a banger on the dance floor. And you know, it's just crazy. Like I've done this type of challenge and had crazy DJs play my tracks that are of this style. I've seen other people do this challenge and have had similar results. It's crazy. So one last thing before we dip, can you guys comment in the chat any takeaways, anything that like really stuck with you, any moments of realization, anything that you're excited to try? Just give me some feedback in terms of what resonated. Limiter is God, definitely. Can you drop your everyone also feel free to drop your socials so that you can connect with each other. Simplicity and having fun is key. Simplicity and finish it through. Arrangement can be simple. Don't overthink it. Everything short and sweet, not to overthink arrangement. Mastered. And by the way, for arrangement, one last thing that I want to highlight. Start with a loop, double it again, you know, tweak some things. Once you have these bigger sections, double the bigger sections, you know. I feel like that's super, super important, you know, versus trying to create new ideas throughout the whole track. It's like you make a loop, the loop becomes a section, then you start copying the sections, then you start copying like the even bigger sections, the bigger chunks. So important. And the most important command for this is Shift Command D. It might be a little different on PCs, but so important. Okay, you literally don't need any EQ, compression effects, nothing, just good sounds. 100%, 100% playing with space. Yes, dude. Sometimes like the less you have in a track, the more effective. Don't give a fuck and have fun. 100%, not to overthink. Keep moving and don't sit on a loop. Yes. Be one with the dance floor. Love it. Workflow simplicity. I want to be me when I grow up. Oh, that's cute. But no, that's so cool. It's like each of us, like when making music, we can all use the same sound and make something completely different, which is something I really love. Like the 909, we've been using it on dance and house and techno tracks for like over 30 years, and it's still so epic. Also, one last thing I wanted to share with people in terms of all this stuff, digging through like old house records. Back in the like late 80s when house music first started, people would like press vinyl records of tracks that are literally just drums. And it's like, dude, these artists would be like, no, we need to put this track on the vinyl record because it'll go off on the dance floor and it's literally just a drum machine. So inspiring to me, like how we actually need to do. Arrangement view flow rather than stuck in loops. Amazing, amazing. And then I see people's Instagrams. Okay, sweet. I'll be sure to, we'll include the whatchamacallit, the text thread in the upload as well. For some of the sounds that I mentioned, I think I included them in the Zoom link email. Give me a thumbs up if you saw the Zoom link email and you saw some extra links for stuff to download. Okay, cool. We'll try to get the recording uploaded ASAP, but I think beyond that, give me a thumbs up if you're going to come in either tomorrow or Sunday. Who's going to come back? Let's go. Amazing. Amazing. I hope to see all of you. And for those that can't make it, we'll have the recordings. Stay in touch. Feel free to message me on Instagram if there's anything that really stood out to you. Also, we will have submissions. I'll have a link for the submissions in the recap email so that you can bounce the stuff you're making down and send it. Please use Dropbox or SoundCloud. Make sure your tracks are downloadable too. That's always nice. I think SoundCloud is my favorite. But yeah, let's have some fun. And everyone, I want everyone to unmute and make some fucking noise if you're ready to have fun and not give a fuck. Let's go. Unmute, make some noise. Maybe. Nope. Maybe we're all locked in. So anticlimactic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry, that was me.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Don't give a fuck.
You hanging like that, Justin?
Thank you all so much. Love you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all
Justin, well
soon.
done, buddy.
Later.
Peace, everybody.
Thanks,
Everybody.
Justin.
Bye.